Hello civilians, it's me, Pawn Ranger. So here is the NorthWest IdolFest 2024 video diary. Late. NorthWest IdolFest was my very first time guesting at like a convention in general, which was a really unique experience for me. Before we get too far into that, if you're new to these video diary style videos that I make, I turn on a camera and I kind of just talk off the cuff about my experiences at an event that I did, and you're welcome to keep this on in the background while I yap. Treat it like a podcast. As you can see, I am at my parents' house filming this, door closed, because there's dogs out there that want me to hold them and pet them, and that I will do that eventually. But right now, I need to film this video and get it done, and then stay tuned to the end of the video if you want to see me make amends. Also, I have opened up the kind of question box for people that had any burning questions about my experience at NorthWest IdolFest, and I will also be answering those questions towards the end of the video. So NorthWest IdolFest was the first convention I've ever guested at, in an official capacity. I've been a musical guest for previous events, but the thing with that is I still had to apply and book, and there's not really much in the way of comp for that. It's very similar to the way that you just apply for idol events, at conventions, where they pick you, they give your acceptance, and maybe they pay for your badge. So this is my first time having the whole guest experience, name on the website, full on social media promotions, collaborative events, special stuff, flight comped, food comped, hotel comped. Oh. So I felt like I had some really big boots to fill. But the IdolFest team really kind of helped me walk through it, which I'm very grateful for. There are many conventions in which they would have just said, oh, this guy doesn't know things yet, this is their first time, so we can get away with more, and I appreciate how honest the team is. It's great. I did have a working relationship with IdolFest working up. I had staffed for some of their events. I had performed, obviously, once per event that they've ran since 2022, with the exception, I think, of Idol Party in LA, just because I'm not in California. One day. So I did know everyone that I was working with for this convention on a closer professional level, and they are also just really cool people to work with. So a lot of the leading up to NorthWest IdolFest is just here's responsibilities, is there anything that you want to do, booking flights, making sure the hotel is okay, agreeing on stuff, signing contracts, business stuff. It was a fresh experience for me, obviously, but they were very cool and helpful, helping me run through it and everything. So they were is there anything that you want to do specifically? And one of the things that I really wanted to do was do a collab event with maybe another guest or a couple of other idols at the event. And they were bet, we can do it. We can set you up with Melancholia. And I'm perfect. That's my friend in Kalia. So leading up to the convention, it was just a lot of signing of contracts and business stuff with IdolFest, and a lot of me and Melancholia looking at each other and going here's my idea, and the other one of us going, perfect, I was thinking the exact same thing. Which was really fun. We are very similar in personality. We mesh really well and we work really well together, and that was a really fun experience, working behind the scenes towards this collab event. I got to the convention on Thursday, so I had a set on Friday of the event in the afternoon, which was my solo event. And then I also had like a meet and greet that same day. And then I had the collab performance, the Heisei D2 performance on Saturday. And then we had our meet and greet after that. Then I had my free day on Sunday, and then I left on Monday. Also leading up to the event was my staff team, previous to being the management team, ran our first official fan campaign, the flower stand, which I'm trying not to cry about. We had raised it was a crowdfunding campaign, and I was like very nervous that like, oh, like no one will want to fund this, and then we like made the like funding goal within like a month after like it announced, and I was like, oh, and then my staff team was like, dude, you're gonna get a massive fucking flower stand because we're pushing for a stretch goal now. And then like they made like way more over their stretch goal, and the flower stand was taller than me, which was it makes me very emotional to think about. I also had the option for day 1 and day 3 to participate in both the opening and closing ceremonies, which I did because, come on, man, when am I gonna get this opportunity again? When I walked into the convention on day 1, they were still setting up on day 0. On day 1, the flower stand was sitting there in the lobby by registration, and I definitely almost cried, and I definitely cried about it in the hotel room because it was gorgeous. So it was like this big flower stand, obviously as a flower stand, that had like lilies and like carnations and roses and these big pom flowers. And they're all my favorites. I had seen like a stock photo of the stand that they were planning to get, because like, you know, we had like, I approved the campaign posts, but it was a completely different thing seeing like in person. And also like my staff hid the fact that Melancholia also did the art for the stand, which was really cute. Also Friday of the event, I participated in opening ceremonies, which was really fun. It was me, Phoebe, and Melancholia, and the 3 of us were there with the con heads and all the department heads and stuff to ring in the last ever asterisk for now NorthWest IdolFest. And we got to like talk a little bit about ourselves, talk a little bit about the convention. If anyone has like footage of it, I'm like 90% sure I just sat there and was like, if you had a dream, would you, dreams come true? Sat back and looked like this for the rest of the thing. And this was like it was fresh experience. I know that like Melancholia and Phoebe have done this like tens of times. I've done this so much, and I'm like dog with a lollipop about it. Baby's first guesting experience. And then also on Friday I had my soloist performance, which was really fun. I walked into it feeling like very, very nervous, because again, I feel big shoes. Fuck. But I think the set went really well. I appreciate everyone that like came out to see it. And through that block, I was put in a block with Melancholia, and we like kind of went like one after each other, so I was able to like watch him perform too, and he was able to watch me perform for the first time, and that was really fun. And then afterwards we had like a joint meet and greet, so like my table was like there and his table was there. What if we had our merch tables next to each other in Minecraft? I think throughout the process of like working together for this convention, we like realized that we're very similar people. It's been really good, and I'm very glad to have gotten to know him better through the convention, which leads into Saturday, because we did Heisei D2 Saturday morning. So it was me and him, and we were like, we have this great plan, because for the opening song it was just like a flashbang mystery song, and we were like, let's just hide, and let's like run out through the audience for it. And of course the flashbang song is Ain Dance no Ura. Ain, 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 Ain. Yeah, you know, the Mini Moni song. Oh man, am I old? Ancient at 25. And our performance was so fun. We had really great chemistry on stage, which was really cool. This was just like a temporary unit for us. We expected to fully this project is just for NorthWest IdolFest, and I will get into that because some of you have asked if Heisei D2 is returning. I'll get into that in the question segment. But it was really fun, and it seems like you guys had a really good time too. I think they kind of expected us to be like two opposites, really, because his soloist project is very like moody and atmospheric and like emotion driven and like shoegaze stuff, and then me, I'm sitting here like, I'm Pawn Ranger and I'm orange. But turns out that we are simply truly two goofy lads. And then Sunday was my free day, and I got to like roam around the convention. I did closing ceremonies as well, aside from the usual suspects from opening ceremonies. Shihori was there, and I got to meet her and say hi and hang out a little bit. It was really fun also getting to talk to all of the idols that were there, and also like the other guests at the convention. I had a really good time. My last NorthWest IdolFest was not very good, because I was just overloaded and sick and unhappy. Like, I had gone to the hospital like a week or two before the event. I was sick, I was unhappy, I was recovering from stuff, like I went into last year's NorthWest IdolFest with like a heart issue that I didn't get solved until like this year. I had like the respiratory issues, which I hadn't like gotten surgery for yet, but I would like after that like start like going through the long process of getting the surgery for. I had a lot of health issues last year. I had like a really awful like personal like emergency with like my mental health last year, and I walked in not doing so good. And this year I walked in nervous, scared, but I had a really good time, and I think that experience was like really healing about it. I had a really good time at this year's NorthWest IdolFest, and it is a shame that this is like the last NorthWest IdolFest for the foreseeable future, because they're moving to SoCal and running events in SoCal. I believe if Idol Party in LA is the now IdolFest focused event, but I could be wrong. I hope that they return to Seattle. I definitely cried the Monday before I left, while they were like taking down every like whatever was left at like my flower stand, and the like me walking around the like empty halls going like, oh, I won't be here again for like years. Oh, I may never return. But NorthWest IdolFest is such a sentimental event for me. It's where I started really kind of coming into my own as a performer. I've met friends there. I met like one of my current managers like there at that event. I started learning how to like do call and mix there. I've made so many friends through that convention. Like, it's kind of, despite me being on the East Coast, NorthWest IdolFest truly was like my home convention, and I feel really honored to have been able to like do the last ever one for the foreseeable future. So now we get into the Q&A portion. I had opened up my question box to my audience to have them like ask me like any kind of burning questions that they had about guesting at NorthWest IdolFest for the first time. The first question I have is, what were your guesting responsibilities? So we had discussed this like way in advance of the convention. Basically they had anticipated like the soloist performance and then the collab performance because it was something that I wanted to do, and I had worked with them to make it happen. They had expectations of me to stay with like my meet and greet booth both of those days for at least the allotted amount of time. We usually like ended up staying like a little bit later than that, just because we had a lot of people come and we wanted to make sure that everyone had a chance to like talk to both of us. And then on top of that, they gave me the optional choice of speaking and attending, doing the opening and closing ceremonies. This was something that was extended to like all guests, and it was kind of like a choice if you wanted to do opening ceremonies or closing ceremonies or both. And I decided to do both because when would I get this experience again, really? So the next question here is kind of like, what kind of accommodations did they provide? What was like the time that you spent doing your guest responsibilities versus like your free time? And this IdolFest, I kind of like paced myself a bit. So for accommodations, they had offered me a place to stay in the hotel, which is very standard for guests as far as I understand. So it was the day before and the day after the convention, they had me stay there. They also paid for my flight within like a certain budget. They had also like given me a stipend for food, very like made sure I was able to get there, fed, and had a place to stay. So because I was a guest, my sole responsibility was whatever was in the contract, really. And I don't think I calculated out how much time I spent working, but I do know that as I have a big goal for myself, which is to kind of like pace myself out a bit, especially since like I'm realizing I need like a little bit of time to like decompress. I also get really overstimulated at conventions. So I would like spend some time working, and then I would go eat and like hang out like in my hotel room or hang out with some of my friends. And then I would go and I'd get ready for the next thing. And then I would go and do my job, and then do my job, and then do my job. And then I would like go and relax afterwards. So there are a lot of things that I wanted to see that I had missed, partially because they were like scheduled during me like working or like or during the times that I have allotted for myself to rest, which makes me sad. I was able to attend some like idol events, but I was not able to like go upstairs to the vendor hall or like see a lot of other performances, because a lot of the other performances were either during like while I was doing sound check for my performances, or while I was actually literally performing, or while I was doing meet and greet. Me and Melancholia kind of like stayed at our tables. We had a lot of time of like an hour and a half for meet and greet, but we ended up extending that out maybe to like 3 or 4 hours because of the turnout, which I am so grateful for. which I'm really grateful for. I'm not complaining whatsoever. It's just the, it's part of the job. So a lot of me at this convention was me going to my friends and going, can you take a video for me? Can you take pictures for me? Because I was not able at all to go anywhere outside of like the level, the main level while I was working. But that is not the fault of the convention. That is on me. Really. The next question that I got was, will there ever be a return of Heisei D2? And the answer to that is, like, the short answer is maybe. The longer answer is that me and Melancholia like kind of like talked about it like on and off. We're both interested in it, but the return of Heisei D2 really depends on both of us having like availability and when both of us want to do it. We both kind of like agreed that like this is kind of a thing that's like a no pressure type thing. And is for fun. So maybe there will be a return to Heisei D2. I am completely open to it. That just entirely depends on if both of us are able to link up and have the time to actually do it. So if you guys want Heisei D2, please don't bother him. Don't bother Melancholia to bring back Heisei D2. Please do not. Not that I think you guys would, but like, just we'll get to it. We'll bring back Heisei D2 when the stars align, basically. The next question is, what was my favorite part of NorthWest IdolFest this past year? My favorite part of it was the flower stand that you guys got me. I know that feels like a cop-out answer, but really like, as of like making this video, I'm like still like slowly packaging all of the like goodies for everyone that had donated. And I still get really emotional thinking about it because like this event, like NorthWest IdolFest, was such a huge milestone for me that like the fact that like you guys wanted to help me mark like the occasion with like a gigantic fucking flower stand, which I personally think is the universal idol symbol of you fucking did it, bro, congrats. So I like honestly I can't stop thinking about it. It's been months. I'll probably be thinking about that flower stand for years to come. Even after I have more flower stands and make more accomplishments in the future, I'll still be thinking about that one forever. So the next question is very interesting. Like, how do you cultivate slash attract such amazing mixers, people that do wotagei, etc. in my audience? And it's a combination of I'm one of those people. I participate in that culture. And also I do things to attract that culture because I am a part of it, and I take very heavy inspiration from like the Anikura scene. Really, in the Northeast, we have so many people that like do wotagei and do call and mix, and they're exposed to call and mix, and they're very good at it, and also they are so open to being nasty. And when I say nasty, I mean freaky, and when I mean freaky, I mean yakai. It was good, really. I personally like that. I am also nasty, freaky, and yakai myself. And I do participate in Anikura culture as much as I can. So I do myself participate in Anikura culture. I love Anikura stuff. I went to the Anikura event at NorthWest IdolFest. I'm sure there are videos of me dragging people around like they're a car during gas because I can hold people. I am someone that like actively participates in those cultures, and it is one of those things where, yes, the online aspect of it is important. You can connect with everyone online, but also so much of it is so in person and so important that it is in person, that you physically see each other, and that bond of just physical proximity is an important aspect of it, that I would recommend if you do know that there's a scene nearby to do it, or if you're going to an event, find them. So in turn from Anikura's stuff, I am inspired by that scene through my participation of it, and therefore incorporate it into my performance style and my work. So basically, the reason why I attract mixers and uchishi and other things like other people adjacent to those cultures is because I am one. And the last question is, would I go back next year as a guest or an attendee? And the answer to that is yes. I'm kind of ride or die for NorthWest IdolFest and IdolFest Foundation. They have been incredibly good to me over most of my idol career, and I owe them my life, and also their events are good, so I will just show up. So that about wraps it up for my video here on NorthWest IdolFest last year. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I was able to like give a good vibe about baby's first convention guest experience. This week while I'm filming this is like when I'm kind of putting into action the fruits of Operation Orange Christmas, which is the other fan campaign my now management has done to get me kind of like a Christmas gift from the audience, and that is in the form of a spa day to relax. I'm actually going tomorrow as I'm filming this. Those of you who have asked about NorthWest IdolFest footage, like footage of Heisei D2 or footage of my soloist thing, I'm kind of at the mercy of IdolFest for that, and they'll have the footage when it's ready. So I hope that you'll look forward to that in the future when I eventually have that available for you guys. But that about wraps it up for the NorthWest IdolFest video. Thank you so much for watching, and on to the Patreon crawl. Bye!
この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Who wants to be pet? Yeah! Puppy, 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 puppy. Oh, puppy, 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 puppy. Yeah.